I, 20 male, as a background, my family is very, very toxic, mentally and physically. I've been working on standing up for myself and my siblings, but I'm still pretty quiet about everything. It's usually my stepdad, 54 male, who I'm sure I'll post about here eventually, but today's about dear darling mom, 41 female. The thing with my mom is that she gets stressed very quickly, has no patience, and snaps hard and fast. For example, she once yelled at one of my 9-year-old sisters until and during a panic attack. Tonight, Christmas Eve, she was in one of her moods and was bossing around my younger siblings, as mothers do. And she got so angry that she told my sub-10-year-old siblings that Santa wasn't real. I wasn't there for that part since I was working, but I heard all about it when I got home, exhausted and cold. I thought she had calmed down since she wasn't yelling when I came into the kitchen. Oh, how wrong I was. She got back to ordering all of us around, including myself, which is fine, but none of us were doing anything fast enough for her. Not unloading the dishwasher fast enough, not folding the clothes fast enough, etc. Here's where it gets interesting and a bit malicious compliance-ish. Some of the kids turn on the TV while folding since all of us are very used to background noise. Our dad was also on the couch just listening to everything while spending hours checking 5 new emails, as all dads do. Our mom stormed in and took one look at the kids watching YouTube casting on TV of season infinity of Survivor, and she lost her stuff. She started yelling at them about being distracted and being slow and not being neat and tidy. I had enough at that point, and I told her that they're kids, that the clothes that they fold aren't going up to her Empire State expectations regardless of the TV being on or not. I told her to back up, maybe take a nap or something, and said that I'd make sure stuff got done by the time she wakes up. She said she didn't trust me to run a dishwasher, even though she told me to do so after I got home, but whatever. I told her she's being a Grinch and that none of the kids want to do anything good for a Grinch. She had this shit-eating grin on her face. As an additional background, I'm not very into Christmas. I don't wear Christmas sweaters, don't celebrate religion, and I do generally complain about how expensive it is to buy gifts that all the kids want. So she suggested we should do a Survivor if the kids ignore me to watch it. Let's vote out the biggest Grinch in the house, and whoever gets voted out has to spend the night in a tent in the backyard. I originally thought she was kidding me, but she actually grabbed a notebook and called all of my siblings into the living room and explained that we were actually going to be voting someone out for the night. At the end of the night, I had a vote. Now, my dear reader, you may have noticed that I never gave a specific number to the amount of siblings that I have, including myself. My mom and stepdad are the parents of 11 children. My mom got 12 votes, meaning my stepdad had voted her out too. She even held her to her own punishment, but he called her back right after she finished setting up the tent. It looks like the snow cooled her down because she wasn't all snappy when she came back in, but she was incredibly salty. Ever since I was young, I had a major medical problem. My kidneys don't really work, or that's what it was at the time. Oh, I'm a 35 male, and this happened when I was in the 4th grade at the time. Nowadays, my kidneys don't work anymore, but that's a different topic. So, at the time of the story, I had a major doctor's order with many things that teachers have to do. I'll list them below. Had to have a water bottle on my desk at all times, the ability to go to the bathroom at any time. This is the most embarrassing one on my part, but I had to have them. I had to wear pull-ups at the time because I had issues controlling my bladder. Sorry for the spelling from this point on. These have to be followed 100% of the time, and in my state/school system I was in at the time, don't play with this kind of stuff. Wow, that was a lot of background, my bad, so onto my story. Cast: me, Miss Karen in the story and the entitled teacher, my mom, principal, nice classmates, other classmates. So I'm sitting at my desk working on my work like normal. History is my favorite subject. With a smile on my face, my bottle was next to me what it was supposed to be. When Miss Karen came up to my desk, here is what happened. Miss Karen:
Look here, Blinks. You know you can't have that water bottle on your desk. Remove it now.
Me: Actually, Miss Karen, I am allowed to. As you were told at the time, I came to your class at the beginning of the year. Miss Karen:
I don't care. It's not fair to the other kids, and I don't even think you really need it.
Me: To be honest, it doesn't really matter what you believe, and you can't go against doctor's orders. Miss Karen:
Those orders have no power in my class.
She then takes my water and sets on the floor, out of my reach, and walks off. Nice classmates.
Blinks, here.
She handed me my water.
We know you need it.
She smiles and walks off. This part happened a lot, but I let the stuff go because I really didn't like conflict at the time. It was the next thing that happened to me that pushed me over the edge and took this to my mom. This part, I was working on a project for science. Sadly, I'd felt that I needed to change my pull-up for, well, reasons I don't want to go it too. You can probably guess anyways. Me: Miss Karen, I'm going to the bathroom. I was pulling out my spare pull-up out of my bag. Miss Karen:
Oh, no you don't. Sit back down.
She sees what's in my hand. Miss Karen:
Oh, look, diaper needs to be changed.
Other classmates start to laugh along with Miss Karen. Nice classmates.
Hey, stop that. That's not nice, guys.
I cried and ran out. I ran to the principal's office and told him everything. From what just happened to the water bottle, he was livid. He called my mom and asked her to come to the school. When she got there, she calmed me down as the principal explained the situation. Now, my mom is a kind woman. Not much can cross that woman, but when you do something to her kids, she goes full mama bear. Her look went from her normal kind look into her, oh, heck nah. The look she gets when we kids messed up. She wanted to talk to Miss Karen. The principal agreed and we all went to my class. Mom:
Honey, go get your stuff when you come home.
Mind you, the principal has not entered the room yet. Miss Karen:
Oh, look, paper, but Mom is here.
Principal: Care to say that again? Miss Karen's face went white. Miss Karen:
Oh, I didn't see you there, sir. I do.
She was cut off. Mom:
What did you call my son just now?
Her eyes were locked in this woman's soul. Miss Karen:
I didn't call him any.
Again, she was cut off. Principal: Don't try at all. Miss Blinks here, you can tell her. Mom, with a smile: Miss Karen, your services are no longer needed here at X school. Back your desk and leave now. I heard later she did get a more formal termination for not following doctor's orders to the T and lost her teacher's license for the same reason. I was then pulled out of school to begin homeschooling, and to this day I like telling the story. Edit. A week later, the teacher did send us a letter, not to apologize or anything like that, more like to say we ended her career as a teacher over nothing. We didn't respond and just moved on with our lives. I don't think this is fake for a second. I had an equally shitty teacher in 3rd grade, my mom got fired, and when she decided to punish me for talking during a movie, when really that bitch Andrea wouldn't shut up and I got in trouble for telling her to be quiet, out of view of her or any teachers to run laps. Nobody knew I was out there. Part of me was tempted to walk right out of the gate and go home. But I was terrified to tell my mother because of how she might react to my brand new white jeans getting ruined in the rain. It took me weeks to convince her to get them for my clumsy ass. She saw anyway when I got picked up at the end of the day, but she pleasantly surprised me for the first of 3 times in my life and directed her anger at the right person. I was glad to see Mrs. Phillips leave. She was not missed. I had a teacher in 4th grade too who punished me for talking when I was telling a bully to leave me alone. The same boy threw a rock at my face in recess later that day, but I digress. His punishment was to take my desk away, make me carry all of my books to and from school in my backpack, and I had to stand at the filing cabinet next to his desk and use it as my own. Another moment where I was scared to tell my parents because I was the one in trouble, my dad put a stop to it when he threatened to make Mr. D carry his full army rucksack around all day if I didn't have my desk back by the time the first bell rang. It was wonderful to watch. I've had very many shitty and uncaring teachers over the years. Teachers who take their little bit of power over children and maximize it for bad intentions. Anything to make themselves feel better, I assume. The way they treated me mixed with the way my parents did gave me a really effed up childhood and a skewed view of what affection and caring for someone means. Children shouldn't have to pay that price. I had just arrived at my all-time favorite Mediterranean buffet. It's a family-owned restaurant with a very cozy atmosphere, almost always near full capacity whenever I visit for dinner. Filled to the brim with heartwarming foods that you can count on to give you your money's worth any day of the week. If you want to imagine how good the smells or tastes are, just imagine yourself taking a bite into the best freshly prepared souvlaki you've ever had and add 20% of that for good measure. I myself just happened to be standing patiently in line for some mouth-watering home-style hummus. To get to my mashed chickpea prize, I entered a sizable queue that stood adjacent to a serving aisle measuring about 12 feet in length and spaced apart just wide enough for two people standing elbow to elbow. It didn't take long for everyone else to collect their favorite victuals, and because it was standard first in first out, I soon found myself seemingly left alone to meticulously measure out my daily allotment of blended dip. At this point, I think my peripheral vision did spot a figure moving towards my general direction, which I obviously paid no mind to since it's a packed eatery. However, upon turning round to get to my next mouth target, I did take a second to observe what was moving at an apparently very brisk pace towards me. Directly at me, in fact. I was mid-stride when my monkey brain registered the bare essential details of this unidentified moving object. Middle-aged, balding, kinda squat, definitely a few inches below my eye level, clearly not in a mood to smell any roses, probably needs the bathroom or something. What happened next happened in a span of 1 to 2 seconds. The play-by-play I'm about to give should be constructed as figurative feelings and not literal thoughts. Wow, he's moving fast. I better make eye contact so we're aware of each other. He's not making eye contact. Maybe I should move to evade him. Actually, I'll stand still so that we don't actually collide or end up doing the mirror dance. He's still moving fast. No way, he can't see me, right? Oh, A hand moved out of nowhere. There was an audible surprised gasp or grunt. A dollop of hummus actually managed to jump from the plate in my left hand onto my thumb. It took me a couple heartbeats to realize that I'd forcibly halted this unidentified moving object with my right hand in an actual stop motion. "What the hell is your problem?" erupted from the uncanny match for an ostrich. To which I replied, "I'm so sorry, I didn't realize that you couldn't see me." He said in turn, "I'm not blind, you effing idiot. Why didn't you move?" I'm not gonna lie, it took me a moment to process what he had just said. So not only was he not being distracted by a phone or a pair of melons, not only was I holding so still that a deceased wide receiver could get around me, but he clearly knew I was directly in front of him and kept going full-on Titanic anyway? Were you expecting me to?" I questioned. This wasn't rhetorical either. I had to confirm what his actual thought process was, if there was any. Surely he didn't expect a complete stranger to see him, move out of the way, and bow like a servant. Or perhaps he conflated his girth with his height and figured others would naturally maneuver around him like some half-giant at the train station. In either case, my curiosity was quickly as this unabashed and mentally obstructed creature launched into a mad tirade of insults, curses, and a few "you people" here and there, which was single-handedly dialing down the ambient chatter in the whole restaurant. Not wanting to escalate this any further, I simply stood there and waited while keeping my posture as neutral as possible with a sad plate of hummus. Finally, after this half-minute eternity of abuse, UMO pivoted to get around me, about time, and capped off his diatribe with one more and rather dramatic sounding Effing idiot! Sir, I don't think you're an idiot. I can't give a play-by-play on what happened next because at this point I was already amped up from the adrenaline and reacted on pure instinct. What I can say with certainty though is that a plate of hummus flew halfway across the room behind me, thankfully it didn't hit anyone, a couple of restaurant staff intervened to restrain me, and UMO was sprawled to the floor on his side. In all honesty, I was at the time trying to follow what I'd been taught on de-escalating a verbal conflict, part of which is to affirm that any ill will from the verbal attack isn't mutual. I was trying to tell UMO, even if you hate me and want something bad to happen to me right now, I honestly don't feel or want the same for you. Only in hindsight do I realize that UMO was so enraged that he actually misconstrued my words to mean something along the lines of, I know you are, but what am I? Resulting in UMO throwing a sudden but telegraphed right hook. I'm guessing the less than sincere sir didn't help any. In the end, the authorities weren't called, but I was asked to leave for that evening. No refund needed since customers only pay after they've eaten. UMO was fine as far as everyone could tell. Just had to ice some bruises from the first fall before he presumably was asked to leave too. I know most are here to get a justice boner of some kind, but frankly, I choose to believe this guy either has anger management issues or he was just having a really bad day before the holidays. At least I wasn't banned from the restaurant, and the only thing I have to deal with is a bruised forearm. Oh, and not getting to eat my hummus in the end. That sucks too. Thanks for reading, and happy holidays. I, 27 female and pregnant with my first child with my husband, 29 male. We still haven't decided on a first name for our child, but I made the choice, which my husband wholeheartedly supports, to give her the middle name of a deceased friend of mine whom I loved very much. My dear mother-in-law visited us over the weekend and not only trashes our home, but pays me no mind at all during her visit. All she does is fuss over how my husband is going to be a dad and she's going to be a grandma, ignoring the woman literally carrying her grandchild. The most interaction she has had with me so far is barking orders at me. On Sunday night during dinner, however, after she insulted my cooking, she turned to my husband and said, "So dear, what name are you going to give the baby?" I piped up since I'm fed up with her acting like my husband is the one who's carrying her grandkid. "Well, Mrs. X, we haven't decided on a first name yet, but her middle name will be the aforementioned friend's name, in honor of one of my best friends who died a few years back. If you have any suggestions for her first name, we'd be more than happy to hear them." This woman turns and gives me the dirtiest look I've ever received in my life. She proceeds with a long, stupid rant. First of all, why was I not informed that you had already made a choice regarding my granddaughter's name? Did you even consult my husband when you decided to give the baby that name? Look, I'm sure your friend was a great person, but I don't approve of the name at all. I'm sorry, the person may have been nice, but the name isn't nice at all. Instead of honoring the girl by naming my grandbaby after her, why don't you honor her by raising the child to be a good, religious, pious lady? Oh wait, you can't, I suppose. You're a lazy good-for-nothing, useless junkie. You're the opposite of what a mom should be. I'm ashamed that you're carrying my grandchild. At this point, I left and cried up in my room. From what I heard, my husband yelled at her for what she said and kicked her out. As of now, I've blocked her on everything and had my husband withdraw ourselves from Christmas dinner with his side of the family. The whole ordeal also reminded me of the trauma of losing the friend I mentioned. I really hope my daughter doesn't inherit anything from that awful woman. Thanks for reading. Edit. Wow, I didn't expect this to blow up. Thanks for all the love in the comments. Since so many people are asking, the friend's name is Genesis. She was my best friend through high school and college and died in 2018. We're still picking the first name, but we're leaning towards Celine. Thanks for all the love again, and Merry Christmas if you celebrate, and have a wonderful new year full of happiness, love, and prosperity. If she says she's ashamed that you're carrying her grandchild, she definitely has no reason, need, or possible chance of ever meeting her grandchild that she'll be so ashamed of. A good reason by her own reasoning for her never to meet them. Don't let her trample your happiness, cut her off completely, you have every right to.